Okay, so this is just going to be a basic Blender tutorial on how to model and texture a chair. So I'm just going to get Blender up. Okay, so I'm going to start by adding a background image, and you can either just hit this plus sign up in the top right, or you can do N, just press the N key and it'll pop it back up and down. And if you scroll down, there's background images, down arrow, add image, browse, oh no, open. And I have one ready under, under pictures, camera roll. I think it's this one. So now you have a background image, but it's only viewable in orthographic mode. It's perspective actually shows perspective of the model, but orthographic is just with no perspective. It makes it easier to do box selections and stuff like that. So you can either hit 5 on your number pad, or if you don't have a number pad, you can go down here to view perspective / ortho, but it's a lot easier if you have a number pad just to use the keyboard shortcut. So there, as you can see, if you hit Z and go into wireframe mode, as you can see, there's no difference between this and the one back there and the perspective, but if you go out of that mode, then you can see how it would be changing, but it makes it easier to select stuff and things like that. So now if you hit 3 on your number pad, or 1 or 7, it will show the background image as it's constraining to the different views. If you do not have a number pad, then you can go down here and do the same thing. Okay, so we should probably start with the chair base. I should have gotten an overhead photo of it, but it'll be fine. It's just like an elongated square, rounded out some. So hit tab to go into edit mode, or you can go down here. And I'll hit S to scale, Y along the Y axis, scale it down to outside the chair, move it down. And then S to scale, X constraint along the X axis, and move it over a little. Actually, you can see it's kind of rounded out right there. If we want to round it, and it's kind of like got a scallop there, we could go back. Oh well, this needs to be bigger anyway. It needs to be just about a square. So scale it along the Z axis now. Better. Okay, so if we want to round it out a little, we can do. Actually, I'm going to save rounding out to the end, because we're going to be making some loop cuts there. So now we've got the back of the chairs comprised of these 8, I don't know what these are, support things, and then the 2 of them are these outer, stronger ones, and then we've got the 6 little skinny ones on the inside. So we're going to need to extrude bases for all of those. And now is a good time to go back out of orthographic view, cut it in half with A to deselect, Control R to do a loop cut, and then click, and then just click again to put it exactly in the middle. A to deselect, B box select, and then just grab all this. Actually, I prefer working on the right side, so I'm going to delete the left side. B to box select, hit the delete key, vertices, and then go over here. If you can't see that, then you can drag this over to get to it. Mirror, and make sure it's the right axis. You can do it across any axis, but X is the one that we want. If you're doing it in a different view, then you would need to do a different one. And we're going to move this back because I messed it up earlier. And I'm going to pop out of wireframe mode by hitting Z. And basically you need to get them as close as you can. and then increase the merge limit until they turn into one mesh. So that's when you apply the mirror modifier, it won't look, you won't have to go through and connect all the faces, they'll all already be merged. So now we need to do the two outer ones, or actually we only need to do one outer one, because we've got the mirror modifier. So Control R, and we're just gonna do this. It's gonna be away from the edge of the chair some. And then right there, we should be doing this actually in orthographic. So numpad 5, numpad 7. I'll put us right back there. And probably a good thing we're doing it in this mode, because we would not see that I messed up. Okay, Control Z, tab to go in object mode. We're going to move this right where the base of the chair is in the photo. So now we can go tab. It just has some perspective, so I'm going to move this to make up for it. Tab, Control R. Oh, actually we still need to move it over. So that's in the middle of the bars. So tab to go in edit mode, Control R, and we're just going to make loop cuts for each side of these as they come out of the chair. So Control R, left click, all that stuff. Now we're going to need to make some loop cuts to define where it will be coming out in the back. So we can do loop cut right here. How about right here? That's a pretty good distance from the back of the chair. And then we're going to need two different distances actually, because the ones on the outside were wider, so that's probably a good width for that one. Then I'm going to do a smaller, no, I'm going to do a smaller width, Control R, by the way. And that's where we'll extrude the other ones from. Actually, I won't. We can just go here, Z, I'm going to go in orthographic mode, it'll make it easier. And then we can grab these and just scale them down along the Z-axis to the size that we want them to be. So now we have the faces that we're going to extrude the chair limbs out of. So I'm going to go back out of orthographic mode, Z to go out of wireframe mode. Oh, never mind, I'm extruding that one. Not what I meant to do. So I'm going to grab the one behind it. And we're going to need to scale this up along the Z-axis, because that's where we extrude. We're extruding that. Okay, so now we've got the faces we need to extrude. Shift right click to select them all. Those are the ones that we need to extrude to make the chair, and we'll just double check that by hitting 7 on the numpad, and 5 to go in orthographic mode on the numpad. And yeah, they match up with the little dots. See that? So now we can hit E to extrude. But we can't do that because we're going to need to scale those down to replicate that curve. So we can just grab the outer one then, hit 7 on the numpad to go back. And we'll just focus on the outer one for now. And just E to extrude and just move it around following the curve. And then you can just rotate the face along the Z-axis. Is that it? Z-axis. E to extrude. And just try to follow the curve, using as few faces as possible. Rotate along the Z-axis. Now we're just going to need to get these up close enough for them to merge. There. And we're going to need to rotate them along the Z-axis as even as possible. There. And that looks pretty decent. So now we just need to go in and make the little ones. So I'm going to go out of orthographic. And actually I'm just going to go right back to orthographic. Never mind. Hit 5 on the numpad, 7 on the numpad. And we can just E to extrude, scale this up along the x-axis, E to extrude, maybe scale up a little more. Actually, I'm going to rotate this along the z-axis and try to make it so it'll follow that. This will make it even easier. Scale that up a little. And we're just going to try to replicate what's behind it, the little bar thing. Scale it along the x-axis. And that's good enough. We're going to go through and make places to attach them to here later. I'm just going to make all these first. E to extrude, S to scale, E to extrude, no, scale up a little bigger, E to extrude, E to extrude, S to scale it down a bit. Right click select, and I'm just going to repeat this for all the faces, and you can see the mirror modifier is making all the changes on the left hand side, so you only have to do all this work once. And there. Extrude, I'll scale it down on the x-axis, and looking back at it, that looks pretty good. So we'll go 7 on the numpad. We'll just go in here, and we're going to need to make loop cuts to make a place to merge the faces. So I'll just make one there. We can use that as one. Can't really use that. We're going to need make that one there. And I guess I'll do another here. There's good. And then just do the last loop cut. And yeah, that'll work. So now I'm going to go out of orthographic mode because that'll probably make it easier. Not really. Okay. We're just going to grab the edges, make sure you're in edge select mode. And then you're going to grab the opposite one. And which one's the loop cut I made? That one, okay. You're going to grab that and hit F to fill in a face between the two. So F to fill, right click, shift right click, F to fill. Just repeat that, and that'll merge the face. That'll merge the back of the chair to the. Ooh, that was a bad idea back there. I'm gonna just see if I can't just move this out of the way then, and use that as the face. Yes, that'll work. Okay, so now we can just grab. I'll grab the bottom one first. Shift right click, F to fill, right click, shift right click. No. Where are you? There. F to fill, right click, shift right click. No. Oh wow. Okay. There. F to fill, right click, shift right click, F to fill. Then we'll just do the last one. We already have that lined up perfectly, so shift right click, F to fill, and it's mirroring the whole time. Yay. F to fill, right click, shift right click, there, shift right click, F to fill, and then right click, shift right click, F to fill, and it's done. The top of the chair at least. So I'm just gonna grab some of these and move them off a little to make this look right. There. And I'll grab this, move that over a little, just kind of get them centered and looking right. Okay, hit Z to pop out a wireframe mode, and yeah, that looks pretty good. Except the base of the chair doesn't, but I'm not going to worry about that right now. Actually, I might worry about it now. We'll just make Control R, we'll just do a loop cut right here, and just smooth that out really easily. And then we can just do the same here, except we can just grab that point because it's already there. No, not really. I'll just do a loop cut here. I could spend more time writing it out, but I'm kind of running out of time. So it's Z on the number pad. You can see we need to extrude all those legs, and you could do scaling to make those, as you're extruding it, you could scale it up to make those curves and stuff, but I am seriously running out of time, so I'm just gonna get this done as fast as possible. So 2 legs on both sides, and I'll worry about the crossbar next. So we already have a good place to extrude a leg right here. Actually, we can grab that, move it over a little. That looks good. I'm just going to need to Control R, get one here, move that down a little. So we've got legs, and shift right click, extrude, and that looks pretty decent. So you go into wire, no, what's it called? And just move it down some more. There. And we're going to need to make a crossbar joining this. So we'll just do the same thing as earlier. Control R, repeat on the bottom, and then join. Yeah. There. Shift right click after film. Right click, shift right click after film. Right click, shift right click after fill, and set the crossbar, and then there is also a crossbar going between the crossbars, so we'll do the same thing here, except we don't need to join them because they'll merge with the mirror. So we'll go to face select mode, view extrude. That's not right, we'll just move it up some, rotate it along the z-axis, I think. Yes, z-axis. And get them when they merge. Rotate along the z, I suppose. More. There we go. And yeah, that looks pretty good. I need to scale up the top of the chair some more. So I'll just go into number pad 7. B for box select, and I'm going to select the whole top of the chair, and I missed that bottom part. And I accidentally have that selected. And we'll just, I guess I'll scale this up some. Is that going to work now? Oh, I'll just make this longer actually. There, B box select, I'll just grab all these, scale them up along the y-axis, and that will solve our problems. Kind of scale it along the x-axis a little now. Scale it down. So. Okay, so you could spend some more time getting this right, but I'm just going to move on at this point. I'm running out of time, so tab to go into object mode. We can apply the modifier now if you want, or if you're going to do some more work on the chair, you just want to leave it. But go to tab edit mode. Now you can see that, yep, it's applied and all the mesh is connected, and that looks pretty awesome. So we can hit tab to go back to object mode. I'm going to rotate this so it looks normal. On the x-axis 90 degrees. You can type out the 90 degrees. Hit R and then X and then 90. You can just type stuff in for the axis. There, that looks good. So now I'm going to do texturing super quick. How much time do I have? Ow, not much time at all. Okay, so I'm going to go over here, and you're just going to go up here to UV editing. And UV is basically just how it unwraps the model into a flat image. So we go down to shading UVs, unwrap, smart UV project. Okay, you can see the unwrapped model there, which is pretty cool. I'm going to do a new image to save this to, and this will be the chair UV underscore UV. Doesn't really matter what you call it. I'm going to change that to UV grid. So now you've got that image. I'm going to save it as an image, and I'm going to put it in, where did I have everything? Desktop. That was it. Desktop tutorial new. ChairUV.png, and we'll save that. And now, if you swap it over to texture, you can see that UV texture space thing. So I'm just going to go over to default, and this is how you would paint the model. So you go in weight paint. No, not weight paint. Why did I just weight paint? Texture paint. And then let's see, what do we want to do the chair? Well, it is supposed to be white technically, but if you don't want white, you don't have to. And then you can just paint it, and see if it starts painting on the opposite side of what you're painting on. If you like paint it and it's not showing anything, you turn it around and there's stuff on the other side. It is not doing that right now, but if it is, then you would go over to edit mode, select everything, and then go to mesh, faces, where is it? Normals, flip normals, if it was painting on the opposite side of where you're trying to. So, and if you want, you can just go ahead and paint it all, and sometimes you have to do the more detailed work outside of Blender and just modify the image file itself. And you only want to texture any model basically when you're completely done with it, so you don't have to unwrap it again and repaint the whole thing. So you can just go ahead and paint the whole thing if you want. I'm just gonna stop in a couple seconds. Oh no, I missed a whole face. And then you've got the problem is that down there is supposed to be brown. So you can just move it around and get brown if you feel like it. I'm just gonna stop now. So there you get the idea, and then you can just paint the chair, and once you're done painting everything, you can go down to UV editing, and that's the unwrapped image file. Now you can go image, save image, then file, save as, and I'm just going to save it in the same place under desktop, tutorial, new. I'll do chair.blend, save the Blender file, and now if you open up that and desktop, tutorial, new. There's the UV image and there's the Blender model. And if you're exporting to a game engine, you go File, Export, FBX is what we're using for Unity. You can export FBX, and then if you look here, you've got a file that is a fraction of the size, it's a tenth of the size, but it does the same thing. You're just exporting it to a smaller file type for the game engine. So yeah, that's it. Thanks for watching.